And hello everyone, and welcome to our second gym challenge here in Psycho Turtle Collectibles. We are here for Regulation E once again after the chaotic week we had last week where we had so many new Pokemon, so many new strategies, and a lot of surprises that happened. My name is Jesus Coronel, and beside me is Dennis Geisler, and we have actually a familiar face here on our round one here. We have Allan Martinez, last week's runner-up here, going up against Maguire Adams here on the screen, as Maguire is going to pull up with the Dondozo, Raichu, Dragonite, Chien-Pao, Tatsugiri, and the Fluttermane, while Allan has Ninetales, Rillaboom, Iron Bundle, Ogerpon Heartflame form, Urshifu Rapid Strike, and Landorus Darien. What do you make? I think he's seen a couple things that Allan's changed from last week, and he's going up against the Dondozo, so what do we have?
Yeah, Allan's changing a couple things, making some interesting adjustments. The meta continues to evolve for Regulation E as we get closer to some bigger events. I mean, we'll be having a Premier Challenge here in just 2 weeks in Regulation E. A lot of these players will be there, and so a lot of these players kind of ironing out their teams for that. And on Maguire's side, a lot of interesting Pokemon. I really like the Raichu. I don't know how good it is, but I really like it. Dondozo Tatsugiri is an interesting adaptation. It's been on and off good for this entire run since those two Pokemon were introduced in the Paldea region, and I like it as an adaptation against certain things that have started to pop up more and more.
Yeah, and interesting to see that the Raichu was holding the Assault Vest, so it's looking to take at least some hits. The Dondozo actually holding a Rocky helmet, if we saw on the screen, is looking to take some physical hits, and we're going to see here for Allan, he's going to lead the Snow lead once again. It's going to be Ninetales Iron Bundle, and it's going to be Maguire with the Raichu and Chien-Pao. So the Raichu is going to make an appearance on the screen immediately, and we might see a change in his Iron Bundle immediately as Sword of Ruin and Snow Warning each activate. And yes, that is a change on his Iron Bundle from last week. It's no longer Choice Specs, it's the Quark Drive, Boost your energy for the speed.
Yeah, and that gives Iron Bundle Protect, the access to Protect, which I think is the biggest thing about it. It dropped Icy Wind from last week, I believe, which I think is a better adaptation. The speed is very nice, Iron Bundle outspeed, like everything now, and past that, Blizzard's still going to do a ton of damage to anything that it hits. Although, I mean, in this case, it's hitting an Assault Vest Raichu and a Chien-Pao that has that, takes less damage on that Ice against Ice matchup, so...
Yeah, especially with that Snow Barn Bundle. I mean, wary that the Sacred Sword could be incoming, but also the Fake Out from Raichu, as we do see it going to the Ninetales, so there's going to be a bit of disruption coming in from Maguire, but he can't capitalize it since the Sacred Sword went into the Iron Bundle.
Not a bad first turn for Maguire. It means that one turn of Snow is down, Ninetales wasn't able to do anything, Iron Bundle can't protect this turn. There are a lot of options on how Maguire can hit Allan's team right now, and Allan just isn't threatening all that much damage at the moment, mostly threatening just getting Aurora Veil up, which is somewhat of a problem, but not the biggest possible issue right now, I think.
Yeah, no, Raichu, I think at this point, it needs to go for some disruption plays with that Nuzzle, because if it gets some paralysis on a lot of Allan's team, because none of his team's ground types other than the Landorus Darien, which might not be coming out here as Blizzard does come out here. Raichu takes it pretty decently with that Assault Vest. Chien-Pao going immediately after with that Sacred Sword, that Snow boost into the Ice typing of the Iron Bundle goes in pretty handy here. Vulnerable into the Ninetales. Okay damage, we just get to see a double Blizzard, Raichu survives.
Yeah, Raichu, I mean, see the power of that Assault Vest on Raichu. Definitely has a lot of, some at least sneaky special bulk. Could have potentially doubled into the Iron Bundle there, tried to get it out of the way, but it's not the most threatening thing right now, and it'll run away.
Yeah, Iron Bundle just, I mean, it's pretty frail anyway, so the Rillaboom going to come in. Does cover for a potential Thunderbolt that it went to the slot there, because it would have been super effective onto the Iron Bundle because it was still that water typing. And now we see the Rillaboom just going in its place, and the Chien-Pao read it perfectly, going for the Sacred Sword into the Ninetales, and the Thunderbolt did go to the Iron Bundle slot, and Rillaboom comes in here. Moonblast from Ninetales will knock out Chien-Pao.
Certainly will, and got the crit. I do not think that critical hit mattered at all.
I don't think it ever did.
But in any case, Raichu, I would have liked to see Raichu either try to go into the Ninetales or try to go with a Nuzzle. I know it's always hard to predict the switches and stuff like that, but at the same time, I do think the Ninetales is now still occupying space here. Dondozo is in a tiny bit of trouble. I can't say that the Rillaboom is showing a ridiculous amount of damage up against this Dondozo, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want to let yourself take that damage, especially when you don't have those doubled stats from the Commander bonus from Tatsugiri.
Also worried to note that this Rillaboom really isn't putting up a lot of pressure into this Dondozo. It's more so worried about that Ninetales because of the more special defense that it has. And, well, we're going to see Raichu switch out into the Tatsugiri to hopefully fix that problem.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in any case, this makes the Dondozo dramatically bulkier, dramatically faster, dramatically harder hitting. I just wonder how much this Rillaboom can even do to this Dondozo, because I think Allan's only had Grassy Glide for a grass type of move, and I don't think that does so much damage, especially with the base power nerf, as Dondozo, you know, doesn't want to take a fake out, even though you would have loved to get some bit of Rocky Helmet chip damage, but it probably wasn't worth it, and it didn't even go for the fake out, just goes for the Grassy Glide. Oh, it tried to go pick off the Raichu, but that was buy some time for Allan to get that Aurora Veil set up for the long term. Yeah, that's the big thing about this turn. Allan did now finally have a free turn to use Aurora Veil, kind of knowing there's nothing I can really hit here. Let's just try to get out of this one. And honestly, targeting the Raichu slot was probably a smart idea on the Grassy Glide, because I think Grassy Glide would do more damage than Rocky Helmet Chip would do back, but it would be surprisingly close, I think.
I mean, how close are we talking? Because I know Grassy Glide is still powerful, still has super effective damage, but at a +2 defense, so it's pretty physically bulky if you're not really...
Yeah, in any case, you probably don't want to risk taking all that Rocky Helmet Chip, even with the Grassy terrain up, giving you the healing.
The healing aspect is actually what's really going to give Dondozo a bit of longevity, because most Dondozos typically carry out leftovers, but Rocky Helmet, again, being an adaptation for it, and Dondozo actually is going to go ahead and Terrestrialize into that grass type, so... is less worried about the Grassy Glide, but is more worried about Blizzard. Exactly,
that is exactly the problem. Curious to see how Allan decides to move here.
No Grassy Glide at all from this Rillaboom. The Blizzard connects onto the Dondozo. No freezes come out, so it's just going to be this Earthquake, which is weakened by this grassy terrain, mind you. And it actually gives the Ninetales a good amount of survivability power because of those nerfs. And the Terra actually was read perfectly by Allan with that U-turn. Rillaboom is going to take some damage on a switch-in, but that probably gives Iron Bundle a free switch-in.
Yeah, it does, and this is a really rough situation now for Maguire. It is the Rocky Helmet Dondozo, which means it's not leftovers, it doesn't have any way to heal. Took a decent chunk of damage from the Blizzard. Wasn't able to finish off the Ninetales. I think that is a fascinating everything coming together there with the extra defense, plus the Aurora Veil, plus the terrain, everything making sure that Ninetales is able to take that hit. And I think with that, Iron Bundle, yeah, now is able to come back in. The snow's down, so Blizzard can miss. But in any case, I think Iron Bundle's in a pretty good spot to just hit Dondozo. And I don't know how much more Dondozo can take.
Well, its Leftovers recovery is basically down to this grassy terrain that the Rillaboom set up because of Allan bringing in the Rillaboom in the first place. Ninetales does have the possibility to switch out, but if it's switching out into the Rillaboom, it actually might not be the most terrible thing because you have mostly neutral everything unless like Order Up goes into that song, which would be a pretty good read to go for. And Ninetales does switch out. I expect this to be Rillaboom, and I wonder how much damage to Freeze Dry that Iron Bundle is going to do.
I do wonder as well.
Oh, we're not going to find out just yet.
That's another option where you can just wait a turn and let the Ninetales switch back in, get the Blizzard out. So you're doing a bit more damage. You do give the Dondozo a little bit of time to heal, but you also get your Iron Bundle the opportunity to do the most damage possible, which I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, especially because Blizzard actually has a lot more power, but I would still think it's doing a bit less damage because it's still a spread move, because it's still trying to hit that Tatsugiri that's inside the Dondozo, which is going to be a little bit annoying because Blizzard would have loved to be full power against this Dondozo that has all those defenses, but...
I think the biggest issue right now is I don't understand, I don't see how Dondozo finishes this battle.
He's going to take some Rocky Helmet damage after the fake out, so Dondozo not going to move this turn. Freeze Dry is the option for Allan against Maguire's Dondozo. It looks to be a 2-hit knockout after that, and they got the freeze, which, I mean, flinch, so we see a thaw out, we do. So not typically going to matter, but the good thing that the fake out happened.
Yeah, it didn't mean anything on the freeze, but even still, yeah, Dondozo is taking a bit of damage. It will be a war of attrition. It will be pretty slow. Now there's no more healing left for Dondozo with the grassy terrain dropping off.
Is there potential to see a U-turn from Rillaboom here, or do we see it just go for a grassy glide? I'm pretty sure U-turn is the play here, though, even though you are going to take Rocky Helmet damage, because that sets you up your Iron Bundle for next turn. Iron Bundle's still worried about a potential order up. Which did end up happening, so are we going to see a U-turn from this Rillaboom? And if it does, that's a free double Blizzard for the next turn, and that does mean that Ninetales has a free turn to switch in, and I think that's a critical hit.
It is a critical hit. I don't know how much it mattered in the grand scheme of things. I think the next turn, Ninetales would have come back in, Blizzard would have come out, probably would have finished off the Dondozo with 2 Blizzards, but in any case, it's pretty much over at this point. I don't know how much Tatsugiri and Raichu can do in this setup, especially as neither of them really has damage.
They don't really have much damage to offer. Even though Raichu can offer a fake out to at least get a turn for Tatsugiri to go for something like that Muddy Water, but the Aurora Veil's still up.
Yeah, exactly, and the Aurora Veil will probably come up again. Ninetales has Protect if you're really scared. I believe this is the last turn of... No, it's not. It's not the last turn of Aurora Veil, because Light Clay is up. I don't know how much longer Aurora Veil is, but I think it's a bit. It's going to be difficult to deal with it.
I have to assume it's 2 turns left of this Aurora Veil, and the Ninetales just is probably afraid of that fake out, so we're not gonna. It's not gonna be risking taking the knockout here. Iron Bundle though gonna get flinched here off this fake out. Icy Wind comes out, so Icy Wind's gonna be the choice lock for this Tatsugiri, as it is a choice scarf going into this Iron Bundle, which no longer has that booster energy available, so it will be dropping speed. So how much can this Raichu do here?
It might give the opportunity to knock out the Iron Bundle. I think the big issue is I don't know where there is... Icy Wind has to be the only damage on Rillaboom, and that is bad.
Especially since the Ninetales still took it pretty well, and I don't know, is Raichu's gonna have to be doing a lot of heavy work, because it's taking those special attacks fairly well with that Assault Vest. The problem now becomes that Rillaboom, because the Iron Bundle, even though it fainted, it gives Rillaboom a free option to switch in here. Moonblast goes into Tatsugiri, and not enough for a knockout. We do not see a special attack drop.
Yeah, and it's not meaningless, but I think at this point Rillaboom probably just comes in. Fake Out can finish off Tatsugiri.
Grassy Glide can finish off the Raichu as well, I believe.
Grassy Glide can finish off the Raichu. I honestly think a Blizzard at this point finishes off Raichu with the bans we saw earlier. It'll be close, but in any case, I think the best thing for Maguire here would be to get... and there's the Grassy Glide instead. I think the Raichu was more threatening at that point. There's no damage coming out of this Tatsugiri. And now Allan also gets to preserve the information, the intel on what that last Pokemon was going to be. We still haven't seen it. We still don't know which the 4th Pokemon is for Allan. And that gives a bit of a tactical advantage going into game number 2.
Yeah, so the thing for Maguire here is basically he lost mostly because he let the Ninetales do whatever it wanted throughout that entire game, because even though it was getting those Thunderbolts off onto the Ninetales, it really was just lacking damage to retaliate against that. And I'm wondering, looking back at his team, maybe the Champ Out Dragonite needs to be an emphasis for this game too.
Yeah, we spoke a bit about the Dondozo Tatsugiri going into it. I like some of what Dondozo Tatsugiri brings. I just didn't see anything this game that was all that inspiring. Especially going up against the Alolan Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales does have a very defensive playstyle in many cases. You're able to get Aurora Veil up, and that is the most important thing. When you can get Aurora Veil up, nobody does anything to you. The Dondozo kind of needs to take a while and play against someone who has less offenses, or at least is less able to buff themselves up. I just don't see the answer there, and so I think the option we may be seeing here of going away from the Dondozo Tatsugiri entirely is probably the best decision that could be made here.
And now, looking back at Allan's team, you know, again, he was able to only beat Maguire with 3 Pokemon, so it could have been impossible. You would have brought... I mean, let's take a guess here. If he brought that Ogerpon, I think he'll still in a fantastic position, because even if the Ogerpon was brought out just in case, well, again, we're never going to know, but Ogerpon just offers so much damage on a team that really benefits from Auroraville, like that of the Ninetales.
Yeah, exactly. I think Ogerpon was probably the most likely, and get the same lead out of Allan. And as we saw a different lead out of Maguire, we do get to see the Dragonite now. It's Choice Band, Terra Normal with Extreme Speed. That's the
but it's staring
flavor of this one.
It's staring down 2 Ice types with Snow Boost, however, with that defense buff. But Raichu, I feel like Raichu's in a better position in this game because it could actually benefit from a Fake Out or from a Nuzzle, or maybe he can go for a straight up Thunderbolt into his Iron Bundle and get a one-hit knockout.
Yeah, I think this Iron Bundle does have to be a little concerned. Iron Bundle is deceptively bulky, especially on the physical side, especially in snow. So I don't know. I think if you layered in the Thunderbolt as well, you'd probably be able to finish it off. Although at the same time, this Dragonite is, even with Terra Normal, it will be taking a decent amount of damage from anything Iron Bundle throws out. That's just the nature of Iron Bundle.
It is just how Iron Bundle plays, and Maguire immediately goes for that Terra Normal on the Dragonite, so Extreme Speed, I would still think Ninetales gets a free turn to get an Auroraville off unless it really wants to go for that Blizzard.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Allan decides to play this turn out, whether Allan has decided, yeah, we actually do get to take damage. Oh, that's a rough Protect take.
Oh, double Protect actually, so we do know that at least the Dragonite locks himself into Extreme Speed, so now Allan gets to find out what he was trying to do. Oh, he really wants the Iron Bundle gone.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra intel from Allan with the Extreme Speed and the Thunderbolt into the Iron Bundle. It does mean, like, I think the big thing for Allan, even aside from scouting information, is that it now stalls out the Fake Out. So Iron Bundle and Ninetales are the fastest things here.
And we do see Allan retaliate with his own Terastallization. It's going to be Iron Bundle is going to boost its damage output with the Ice type, but more importantly, get rid of that Water type so Raichu can't hurt you as badly as it once has.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if it would take Extreme Speed Thunderbolt, but either way, I'm pretty certain it'll take Extreme Speed.
Oh, the Extreme Speed goes into the Ninetales now, over 50% health thanks to that Choice Band and that normal type boost. And here is Blizzard with its own boost with that Ice Terastallization. It does get a lot of damage, over 50% to both of those Pokemon. And Ninetales picks up. I mean, the Raichu just gets knocked out of Ninetales, so at least for this game from Maguire, you don't have to worry about Auroraville.
Yeah, I really like that adaptation from Maguire. Potentially reading the Iron Bundle Terastallization. Either way, just realizing, yeah, I do have the damage on Ninetales, and maybe I'm not that afraid of the Ninetales right now or the Iron Bundle's damage, because it was a lot of damage, but Dragonite's fine. Dragonite's still up. Raichu's still up. You're not out of this one yet.
No, but the Blizzard still has a chance to knock out both of Maguire's Pokemon, and with the Rillaboom now that the Dragonite's no longer the Dragon type, it can just go for Grassy Glide Blizzard, and you probably get the knockout on anything.
That is true as well. It might require the Dragonites. I don't know. Will be a switch out for Dragonite.
I feel like a lot of pressure from Allan's Rillaboom is actually forced Maguire's hand, because you have to be worried about a lot of things. That Blizzard, Grassy Glide combo especially. And now we're seeing the first booster energy from Maguire's side. It's going to be the Flutter Mane and Special Attack booster. So it's going to output more damage. Grassy Glide goes into the Raichu. Is enough for a knockout based on that 50% range that it got from the Iron Bundle's Blizzard. And now this Blizzard from this Iron Bundle is single targeted and boosted.
It sure is. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. And Flutter Mane, crucially, because it is special attack booster energy, don't think it'll be able to outspeed this Iron Bundle with the speed booster energy.
And even if it could, it still has to deal with a Grassy Glide on a Pokemon that's not pretty bulky on the physical side, because we know that a heavy slams just destroy Flutter Mane.
Yeah, it sure does. There are a lot of options for Allan here on how to target these two Pokemon. Both very frail, both reasonably weak to stuff that Allan can provide. Nice protect on Flutter Mane. He gets it out of this turn at least.
And oh, the Grassy Glide into instant Jam Power instead, and a critical hit as well. How much would this matter with this Iron Bundle's Blizzard? It will be resisted to the Ice versus Ice type, but it is boosted. We've seen how much damage it did to a Ninetales, to a Raichu with Assault Vest, and it is unfortunately not enough to knock out the Jam Power after the Grassy Glide. Ice Spinner though isn't enough to knock out the Rillaboom. Actually, might buy some time for this Flutter Mane to get some HP recovery and to give it. Oh wait, no, never mind. The Ice Spinner actually got rid of the terrain, so Flutter Mane, I don't know if it survives the Blizzard. And Ogerpon is Allan's last Pokemon.
Yeah, and now it is just the Ogerpon, no Terastallization, no +1 attack, none of that. This is a close one. Iron Bundle is still extremely threatening. Snow won't last forever. It'll drop down eventually. There is no Aurora Veil. I think Iron Bundle right now is threatening being the fastest and dropping a Blizzard that would take out both of these.
It would depend on whether or not this Blizzard does enough damage on the Flutter Mane, because Chien-Pao is definitely not safe from the Blizzard. But
it would be close on the Flutter Mane.
Oh, I had to think about a double protect here because this might be the last turn of Snow, and if Flutter Mane goes for a double protect here and gets it, not only has a chance to survive here, Ogerpon is going to follow me, so Iron Bundle is the priority for Allan right now. And the Sucker Punch would have went to the Iron Bundle, but instead gets redirected because the priority works. And Blizzard, we'll just get this last turn of Snow out of the way, and we'll just knock the Flutter Mane. It will.
This is a smart play by Allan. I think the one thing that was threatening to Iron Bundle there was the Sucker Punch, and even though I don't think it would have done all that much to Iron Bundle, it still had the potential of landing a critical hit. Anything like that could have done it. At this point now, it is just the Dragonite. The Snow is down, so Blizzard has the ability to miss. The only thing that won't miss from Iron Bundle is Freeze Dry, and I don't think that would finish off Dragonite individually. It'd be pretty close, but I don't think it would do it.
But I'm pretty sure a combination of Iron Bundle and Ogerpon's attacks will
That's the problem, is that Ogerpon is probably going to be able to, and so this Dragonite will have to land a hit on one of these two and probably take them out with extreme speed. Problem is Ogerpon has Spiky Shield, and so Ogerpon would actually almost guarantee the knockout with the extra damage going into Dragonite if it was targeted there.
And even if Blizzard misses, you're still asking for a lot, because I think you need a couple critical hits to get back in this game, as the targeting will go into the Ogerpon. Is this a double protect with the Spiky Shield, or are we just going to see this Ogerpon just not play it safe? It is going to be a double protect.
Yeah, and that's smart. There's virtually no downside to that play.
If anything, Allan got an upside from that with the Spiky Shield damage, and that might be freeze dry range.
Yeah, exactly. Now I think it is in freeze dry range, and even still, that Iron Bundle reasonably bulky. We'll see how much it takes from this.
No more Snow, so not enough to take a knockout, so that was unfortunately not going to be anywhere close to giving Maguire any chance to come back. Freeze dry is just going to come out. We'll finish off the Dragonite, and Allan wins 2-0.
Yeah, and that was a nicely played series throughout that by Allan. I like a lot of what Maguire had, but Allan did a great job of playing around that and really showing the power of that Iron Bundle. We haven't seen a ton of Iron Bundles since Regulation D came around, but I like the resurgence of it with how strong Alolan Ninetales is, and kind of providing the extra layer that Iron Bundle needs, which is those 100% accurate Blizzards.
Blizzard has been a very important part of Iron Bundle's game plan when it was using Abomasnow back when it was good in Regulation C, but again, yeah, as you said, it was pretty bad into Regulation D because of all the threats that almost everywhere, you know, you had like Thunderous, Landers, Genies are all over the place, you know. Now Iron Bundle gets a flourish, and now it has a faster Snow Setter in that Ninetales, and it's just good synergy. And I think the biggest thing here was last time Allan had an Iron Bundle with Choice Specs, and it was pretty much struggling to just locking stuff into one move, and made it pretty obvious what it had to do. With the booster energy, you actually get a lot of versatility.
Yeah, exactly, and we saw Iron Bundle be the fastest thing on the field for the entire span, barring priority, and that is a huge benefit.
Oh yeah. That's gonna do it for us in round number 1, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go on a quick break, and we're gonna be back here with round number 2 after the break. So you don't want to miss out. You want to see a lot of these new Pokemon. They're crazy.